The White House is actually putting Amazon and eBay on notice because they are coming after them, and I guess that means I have to technically retract something I said yesterday. Hey everyone, this is Kevin, the Apptrepreneur. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here and you happen to like this video and you want to see more like it, please do me a favor, do yourself a favor, potentially. Hit that subscribe button and ring that bell notification. We upload videos on a near daily basis. You will want to be notified of when those videos go up. The live streams, the premieres, we do so many cool things, and we talk about so many different companies, not just Amazon. We talk about Uber, we talk about Twitter, we talk about Facebook, we talk about Google, we talk about Disney Plus and Netflix. You will want to be part of it. So anyway, we are talking about Amazon and eBay. Really, we're talking about e-commerce here. Now, yesterday, I made a comment near the end, which, some subscribers, you hate when I get political. I understand. I don't like getting political. Guess what? There's an election year. I have said it before. I'll say it again. There are political things that are going to be brought up once in a while. It can't be helped, especially since I just spent like a good year complaining about Uber and nothing but Uber and actually becoming activist type and going to rallies and stuff. Unfortunately, these topics just get political once in a while. You can't avoid it. But that said, at the end of that video, I said that no one in the White House was caring about Amazon and eBay because they were too busy about tariffs and impeachment. Well, apparently the White House does care, and it's kind of tariff-ish related, but not really. Basically, the White House, I just bit my tongue, sorry, is concerned about China and counterfeit merchandise. Here's the thing. Counterfeit merchandise is not unusual on either eBay or Amazon. You say that, oh, here's the thing. It's common on eBay, but it's not common on Amazon. No, it's very common on Amazon. Here, I like to use this as like a very good measuring stick. Go to Amazon and under movies and TVs, search Sailor Moon. Now, Amazon has actually done their darn best to cover up any discs you can buy on Amazon. So we have to take it like a step further to understand what I'm talking about, because they're going to show you all the Prime options first for the video, the streaming video. So go to the left and filter it by DVDs. Filter the search by DVDs. Only show DVD results. Now, the first several items that you see will be the authentic American, Canadian, DVDs, or if you're in the UK DVDs. But go to page 2, 3, and you'll start noticing something funny. You'll start noticing these region-free DVDs of the series that have all 200 episodes plus 3 movies of the original series. Some have even the Sailor Moon Crystal episodes in there. Region-free, subtitled, multiple languages, and they're not real. They are not real. Heck, in some cases, bootleg is in the title of the listing. And Amazon lets it happen. If that isn't enough, if you go to the DVDs of the American listings, read the descriptions carefully, and some of the descriptions are not in line with what the actual DVD or Blu-ray actually is supposed to be. So there is counterfeit merchandise on Amazon all the time. And the White House, wisely, I think they were kind of putting eBay on notice in the first place, but they kind of realized it was just as much of a problem on Amazon, and since Trump hates Amazon apparently, it made sense to throw them under the bus as well. So let's look at what's going on here. E-commerce companies need to do a better job of regulating counterfeit items across the platforms because the Phase 1 U.S.-China trade deal includes tough intellectual property protections, Peter Navarro told CNBC on Thursday. This was like a week ago, by the way. I'm a little late getting to the story. The Amazons and the Alibabas, Shopify, they have been facilitators of the Chinese counterfeiting. So if we're going to enforce this deal, it's going to be a big part of that is scrutinizing this, the White House trade advisor warned. U.S. and Chinese officials on Wednesday signed their first step trade agreement, which includes calls for both sides to work to combat the prevalence of counterfeit or pirated goods by taking effective action when online platforms fail to prevent intellectual property infringement. I think this is coming up because China is notorious for bootlegs. Notorious for bootlegs. Granted, there's a lot of reasons for that. One of the reasons, of course, is that it's such a big company. It's pretty hard to keep an eye on what's going on all the time. I acknowledge that. The other thing is that China has basically not been very concerned about stealing art from other countries. They just haven't. I think we can agree with that. They focus on other points of interest, we'll just say that. And protecting copyright is not high on their government's to-do list. And the third reason that bootlegging and piracy is such a big thing is because the Chinese government tells the Chinese people what they can and can't watch for the most part. There's a lot of shows, movies, things that we can buy and view freely that is not available over in China. And so for Chinese people to watch them, they bootleg them. Like one example, the films of Hayao Miyazaki. We're talking My Neighbor Totoro, Princess Mononoke, Kiki's Delivery Service, Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind. All these wonderful movies have only just recently been allowed into China. Same thing with Star Wars. With the exception of the last 5 years or so, Star Wars has not been a thing in China unless you go the bootleg route. So this is one of the reasons bootlegs are so prevalent. Those are the three reasons. But under this phase one trade deal, apparently that might need to start be cracked down on, because that bootleg market costs, particularly the entertainment industry here and maybe the book industry and everything, the music industry, cost them billions of dollars from people who just pirate it. Now, I know some of you in the comments are going to say, I pirate everything. I like this. It's a victimless crime. It's not, but it's not the time and place to do that. All I have to say is if you can't afford a $10 Netflix subscription, you've got, I don't know if you have a right to be watching anything. I'm being facetious, of course. I know it's more complicated. I'm going to get a lot of negative comments on this one. I just know it. So, U.S. and Chinese officials on Wednesday. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I already read that one. China agreed to consider revoking operating licenses if e-commerce platforms repeatedly sell counterfeit goods. The U.S. agreed to discuss further measures to combat online sales of counterfeit goods. Quote, "We don't love regulations in this administration, but what we do love is corporations accepting their appropriate responsibility," Navarro said in Thursday's Squawk Box interview. Right now, it's skewed. If you're an intellectual property rights holder, whether you're Michael Kors or Louis Vuitton or Pfizer selling prescription drugs, I think I pronounced that correctly, the onus is really on your company to police the internet where a lot of this counterfeiting occurs. That's not right. And that is true to a certain extent. Yeah, most visual piracies come from Pirate Bay and torrent sites. I know that. However, there's a lot of counterfeit goods that wind up on Amazon and eBay, physical goods, and it's kind of gone unchecked for the most part. I mean, yeah, you can report that it's a counterfeit item and maybe the listing will get taken off, but the system might need to be a little bit better. So, here's the thing. Amazon, Alibaba, Shopify, JD.com, Walmart.com, all these companies have a responsibility to police the problem. Which, so this is not just like an eBay and Amazon thing, that this is really an internet company thing in general. Now, there has been some responses. Let's see here. Walmart responded, "Our efforts have ensured that over 99% of the products our customers view on Amazon never receive a complaint about counterfeits. We spent more than $400 million in 2018 alone to protect our store and create innovative and effective tools." It's interesting that Walmart is talking about their store on Amazon. That's very interesting. So here's the thing. Shopify was not immediately available to comment. Now, the Trump administration has in the past voiced concerns over fake items sold in online marketplaces. Like in April, President Donald Trump ordered a crackdown on counterfeit items on e-commerce sites, saying the value of global trade in pirated and counterfeit goods is $500 billion per year. At the time, Trump warned the companies that if they failed to clean up, the government will. That's a terrible Trump image, I'm sorry. Amazon specifically has faced increased criticism over the amount of counterfeit goods on its platform, despite its zero tolerance policy for the products. And then the amazing thing about it is sometimes, like if you're a third-party seller, you could be selling perfectly legitimate items. You could sell perfectly legitimate items. In fact, one year I remember someone bought a Case Closed DVD from me. I mailed it out, and they said it was clearly a counterfeit item because the case was made poorly. Well, as someone who for years bought Funimation single disc DVDs, the material for the cases were not always the best. They were always a little cheap. It wasn't until they started going full box set, Blu-ray, where the casing really improved. and I got flagged for selling counterfeit products. So the zero tolerance policy can definitely be abused as well. Navarro has said, I've told Amazon, I've told eBay, I've told all these platforms we had here at the White House, it's like, look, this is harming your consumers. It's harming your business model. You're making a bunch of money off these folks selling this counterfeit stuff, but you're not accepting the full responsibility. Now that's where it ends, and we don't really entirely know what the consequences for these companies would be if the government decided to fully get in and start fining them and saying, hey, you got to clean up this act. You can't have these products on there. If we find that these products keep winding up on the site, we're going to do something about it. We don't know exactly what that is going to look like. But nevertheless, the government has put all of these sites on notice. And by the way, I will say, out of all the sites that they talked about here, I think Alibaba probably has like the most counterfeit merchandise on it, because anyone create like a listing for Alibaba for anything for items I've never even heard of and don't know exist. And you don't know how authentic they are, and of course Alibaba comes from China, which is where a lot of these third-party counterfeiters sell their merchandise and pretty much do it without a problem. If they can pull this off, if they can actually enforce this, I'd be okay with this. I really would be. But I just don't know how you can. Like, the problem is huge. People don't even realize the scope of a problem like this. We're talking about billions of items that go up every single day. You can't police them all. And no amount of machine learning can figure this out. I mean, it could flag things like posts that are copied from other posts, and they could delete them for violating that. And they could certainly put things like bootleg in there. But then what happens if someone, like, if you put in the system like, hey, anything that says bootleg, take the item down for counterfeiting? What happens once people figure out, okay, that's a word we can't use, so get it out? And what's more, what if someone like puts in their description, not a bootleg, is their listing going to get flagged? And what about DVDs? I mean, it's suspicious when a DVD is region free, because most of them aren't. So, but there are some DVDs that are region free, and that's a selling point. Like, hey, this is an authentic DVD and it's region free, like the Angry Video Game Nerd movie DVD. It's authentically made in America. The creators have made it. It's region free. Okay, but region free DVDs are mostly pirated. So if you teach the machine to take down items that say region free in it, are you now not creating a problem? I just don't know how they can get this under control. I don't think there is a way to get it under control. So we'll have to see what happens. I think these companies are just going to be paying a lot of fines. And if they pay enough fines, they might decide to start shuttering the third-party seller aspects of this altogether. I don't know what the future is going to hold on this. This is interesting. But anyway, that's where we are going to leave this one now. What says you? Do you agree with the government trying to go after? Do you think this will be effective, or do you think this is too big of a problem and maybe other methods should be looked at? I probably should make a video about my position on bootlegs are. I've got a unique take on it, but maybe I'll say that for the vlog channel. But anyway, I'd like to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.